26년 만에 미제 사건으로 남아있던 범인이 마침내 잡혔습니다. 그리고 사형 선고를 받기 전 자신의 변호사를 부르는 범인. 분노를 참지 못하고 변호사에게 한 방 갈겨버립니다. 저걸 실화냐? 1990년 5월 10일 미국 플로리다 케이프 코랄, 딸을 믿을 수 있는 친구에게 맡기고 오랜만에 외출을 하러 나갔습니다. 그런데 집으로 돌아왔을 때 끔찍한 현장을 목격하고 말았습니다. 자신의 딸과 친구가 싸늘하게 누워 있었던 것이었죠. 그리고 다급한 목소리로 911에 신고가 접수됩니다. 현장에 도착한 경찰, 그들은 두 개의 침실에서 각기 다른 시신을 발견하게 됩니다. 11살 소녀 로빈 코넬과 그녀를 돌보던 32세 여성 리사 스토리였습니다. 거실엔 다림판이 펴져 있었고 그 위엔 로빈의 사진들이 나열돼 있었습니다. 욕실 바닥엔 낯선 남성의 젖은 발자국, 의자 위엔 아무도 본 적 없는 흰 양말 한 켤레, 그리고 침대엔 범인의 DNA가 남아있었죠. 경찰은 침입 흔적 없이 들어온 범인이 리사를 먼저 질식시킨 뒤 소리를 듣고 방에 들어온 로빈까지 살해했다고 봤습니다. 범행 후엔 씻고, 쉬고 아예 물건까지 챙겨 떠난 듯 했습니다. 리사의 신용카드, 시계, 운전면허증은 모두 사라졌죠. 그런데 DNA는 채취됐지만 90년대 당시 기술로는 범인을 특정할 수 없었습니다. 알 수 있는 것은 O형 혈액형을 가진 백인 남성, 이웃 주민을 포함해 여러 사람들을 조사해도 일치하는 이는 없었습니다. 그렇게 미제 사건으로 남게 됩니다. 그런데 2016년, 26년이 지난 어느 날 경찰을 놀라게 한 사건이 벌어졌습니다.
Last week, the capable farm detectives were notified of a CODIS database hit on DNA taken from a recent arrestee at the Lee County Jail that matched the suspect's DNA samples from the Cornell story case.
1990년에 미제 사건으로 남아있던 범인의 DNA와 일치한 사람이 발견되었기 때문이죠. 아들을 공기총으로 쏘아 다치게 한 혐의로 체포된 남성이 교도소에서 DNA를 제출했는데 그의 DNA가 1990년 살인사건 현장의 증거와 정확히 일치한 것입니다. 그 남자의 이름은 조셉 자일러. 당시 28살이던 그는 피해자 가족이 사는 동네 근처에 살고 있었습니다. 체포 이력도 있었지만 전혀 주목받지 않았던 인물이었죠. 마침내 범인이 잡혔고 미제 사건의 재판이 시작되었습니다.
Did you tell the people who this letter's addressed to that you slept with Jan Cornell, Janice, and a friend of hers in 1989, and therefore that's why your DNA is in the Courtyards North condominium?
Yes, I thought so because she didn't wash her sheets.
You know whether or not Miss Cornell washes her sheets?
How I got that is by the information I was given from you was discovery, and I thought that the only way my DNA could have gotten there was me sleeping with Jan Cornell and Leanne Deller.
Did you sleep with Jan Cornell and Miss Deller?
It's possible because I was here.
Well, now you were here.
I mean, I was here in December of '89. I testified to that earlier. And what I believe happened is I slept with Jan Cornell and Leanne Deller, and they were just too much of a pig not to wash their sheets.
끝까지 증거를 부정하는 피고인 자일러. 증인으로 출석한 DNA 분석가의 증언이 결정적으로 배심원들의 마음을 흔들었습니다. 전 세계 사람 중 누군가가 이 DNA와 우연히 일치할 확률이 7천억 분의 1이라는 것이었죠. 즉, 이는 우연이 아니라 자일러가 살인범이라는 의미입니다.
And during your direct exam by counsel, your attorney, you indicate you've never been in their condominium.
I'm speculating that the only way my DNA could have got in there is if I slept with them during December '89 while I was here for the month of December.
And then it would have to follow that your DNA would have stayed viable. Let me finish my question. For if it was January, February, March, April, May of 1990, and then, well, okay, I don't want to make it a compound question. Your DNA would have still been there 5 months later.
Yes.
And that's because they're pigs and they don't wash their sheep, right?
Exactly.
You know that?
Well, I assume that, just like you're assuming that.
But just so the record's clear, when I said they're pigs and they wash their sheets, that's what you said.
Absolutely. Can I speak?
No, sir. Wait for a question, please.
May I retrieve the exhibit?
Go ahead.
실수한 척 증인을 압박하는 검사.
Sir, on the second page, that which shows the envelope which was sent to, again, J.G. Batista, and addressed from Joseph Adam Zeiler with the same numbers. Is that also a letter you wrote?
I concede I wrote all this.
And in this second letter, you told Jan Cornell, you directed this towards Jan Cornell, correct? And when you said this,
I can't pay unless you show me the letter.
I am going to direct you to the page right now, page 3. So it's the page right after the envelope picture. On the second paragraph, did you address to Jan Cornell the following? The only way, underlined, is to admit you possibly could have slept with me as a night encounter, and you can't remember, you won't be sure, you won't retest. Did you?
Hold on a second.
Okay.
그런데 범인은 오묘하게 이를 벗어납니다.
I don't see Jan Cornell's name above that. You said Jan Cornell's name was there.
No, I said, who were you? I'll ask it this way. Who were you addressing when you made that statement? Is there someone else in the Batista family you slept with? According to you?
Let the witness answer the question before you ask another question, sir.
Yeah, I guess.
Yes to what?
I don't know. Ask it again.
All right. I'm going to ask it open-ended. It's right? A very open-ended question. When you made that statement in the letter, who were you directing that?
Jan Cornell, I was trying to get her to ask to retest NB32A because it doesn't contain my DNA. I don't believe it is.
You've been sitting here for the last 2.5 days, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Did you hear the testimony of who was it retested?
Jim Pollock.
Of Jim Pollock. Was it Jim Pollock?
Jim Pollock
Was the retest.
That ordering, if you don't know,
All right.
all of that.
Well, the DNA witnesses, did you hear them say that they actually did retest NB32? That they actually took the sheet, recut another sample, and had another analyst do the same test? Did you hear that? So the retesting was done.
I believe FDLE is siding with the prosecution. Of course, they're going to say that.
Okay, and their opinion on that was that Jan Cornell was excluded from that DNA.
I don't think she was. I think that if it was listed, that's the reason I asked for it to be retested, because I don't believe that.
Now, if you flip the page for me and you go to the 4th page of this pack, of that exhibit, and I'm going to ask you to look at the bottom. Did you also direct this to Jan Cornell? If you knowingly allow them to convict the wrong man out of spite and vengeance, I will drag this, parentheses, and you, Robin and Lisa, through appeals all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. I wrote that.
And did you also write on the next line, I'm innocent, I will prove it, no matter how long it takes. Do you really want the rest of your life spent in court?
Yes, I wrote that.
You're threatening then Miss Cornell with what you're going to do should she not, what? What do you want her to do?
Well, she's calling me a rapist and a murderer, so what, I can't write that? I mean, she's calling me a rapist and a murderer, and I'm calling her a pig for not washing her sheets. The paper right here that I'm hiding from you. I still see the body of 11-year-old Ron Cornell with the hand, with the hair of her killer.
The jury will step out.
The blonde.
Mr. Zeiler, the effort you've made to introduce evidence that was not previously placed before the jury is an improper action by you, sir. The document has been handed to your counsel. When I ask you to respond to the questions that are given, that is not an invitation for you to give a narrative or a soliloquy or your entire personal belief about your prosecution. You have made yourself a witness in this matter, and as such, must comport with the rules of court. Do you understand?
Yes.
Is that in any way unclear? Is that in any way unclear, Mr. Zeiler?
We, the jury, find as follows at the count one of the charge. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder of Robin Cornell. We, the jury, find as follows at the count two of the charge. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder of Lisa Story.
그리고 시작된 형량 심리. 플로리다 주 형사 절차에 따라 유죄가 선고되면 배심원단은 피고인에게 사형을 선고할지 종신형을 내릴지를 정해야 합니다. 이 시점에서 적용된 것이 바로 텐트 투표제입니다. 배심원 12명 중 10명 이상이 사형에 찬성해야만 법적으로 사형 권고가 가능했던 것이죠. 검사는 피해자 가족의 30년 고통을 강조하며 이 남자는 단 한 번의 망설임도 없이 두 생명을 빼앗았다며 배심원들에게 사형을 촉구했습니다.
The kind of factors which makes what the defendant did to Robin Cornell and Lisa Story so grave, so serious that death is the appropriate recommendation, that death is the appropriate sentence.
반면 변호인은 자일러의 정신적 불안정과 과거 기록을 언급하며 생명을 살려달라고 요청했죠. 긴 숙고의 끝에 배심원단은 사형 권고를 내립니다. 그리고 2023년 6월 사형 선고를 내리기 몇 시간 전 충격적인 사건이 벌어집니다. 변호사와 상담할 게 있는지 그를 부르는 피고인 자일러. 자신의 변호 결과에 제대로 빡쳤는지 변호사에게 한 방 갈겨버리는 자일러. 주위에 있던 집행관들이 제 앞에 그를 끌고 나갔습니다. 그리고 괜찮은지 물어보는 질문에 이렇게 답하는 변호사.
I used to box and I've taken a lot better shots than that.
끝까지 가오는 지키고 싶었나 봅니다. 판사는 자일러의 손과 발에 추가 사슬을 두라고 명령했습니다. 그리고 그는 다른 사람을 때리거나 발로 차거나 침을 뱉는 것을 막기 위해 법정 구석에 배치시켰죠. 마침내 모두가 기다린 순간이 왔습니다. 판사는 배심원의 권고를 수용하여 자일러에게 사형을 선고합니다.
The court's review of other capital cases has led the court to conclude that the death penalty would be a proportionate sentence in this case. Therefore, the court concludes that under the laws of the state of Florida, the defendant has forfeited his right to live. Accordingly, it is ordered and adjudged that the defendant, Joseph Adam Zeiler, is hereby sentenced to death for the murder of Robin Cornell and the murder of Lisa Story. The defendant is committed to the custody of the state of Florida Department of Corrections for the execution of this sentence as provided by law. You are remanded to the custody of the sheriff for transport to the Department of Corrections.
처벌 실화냐?